Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SPINcast. Today, we're diving back into the world of collegiate esports. Once again, joining me, a new guest, Chase Sommer. He is the esports coach at Wake Tech. So without further ado, Chase, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started in esports, and how that took you down your path to your current position at Wake Tech.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Kyle. I'm Chase Sommer. I'm esports here at Wake Tech. I started in esports at the University of Iowa, and when I was there, I was just, I was a gamer, and I was thinking to myself, well, how can I do gaming as a career? Well, how can I use my passion in something that would be as a career? And so I was like, well, I'll join the esports club, and I became the president there. We helped organize about 10 teams. They're, Overwatch and League had like 2 or 3 each. Um, and so I got a lot of experience in University of Iowa. And then I moved here to Raleigh, North Carolina. And I just basically reached out to Wake Tech. I said, hey, can I volunteer? And they said, no. But do you want a position? So I said, yeah, I want a position. And they're like, yeah, we need a coach, a coordinator. We're building a brand new thing. We've just built this esports arena. It's just a room with, really nice gaming computers. Um, we're basically building it all from scratch right now. We started 2 weeks ago. So we're brand new. But for everyone out there, you can get into what I'm doing. Just get involved with your community and, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. That's kind of my general advice. I get a ton of that, right? Whether it's the high school students that take part of our platform, really anybody I talk to as I continue to grow in the esports world, and our company does as well, of like, hey, how do I get more involved? I'm like, just take that first step, right? Reach out. Like, I would much rather not have to go find people for casting or for production or any of those kind of things that happen, around the game, around these productions. I'd much rather be like, hey, I have this whole list of people like, hey, I want to do this, right? Because I'm going to go pick those people first when they are there. If I have someone that's already like, hey, I want to cast for you, I love Rocket League. All right, I'll give you a call, right? So take that first step and then just go, because at the end of the day, if you try and then even fail just a little bit, you gain experience. Right?
Yep. And then you can use that in positions in the future.
Exactly.
I have people that, we just started, and we have people, I want to be a Discord mod. I'm like, great, we need help with all the permissions. I have someone being like, we want to be the Fortnite captain. Yeah, well, let's see. Like, if you prove yourself, you can be the captain. You can help me coach. So it's anything from broadcasting to playing to organizing. Just go ask to be involved, and there's a place for you, because every organization needs your help.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Esports, especially at the collegiate level, even at the professional level, at some degree, it's like a lot of the positions are filled by one person for multiple positions, right? The coach of collegiate esports programs usually fill 5, 6 to 7 different roles, right? At the end of the day, you shouldn't have one coach for League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, Rocket League, but a lot of times there's one coach, maybe 2 if you're lucky, or in reality, you should have more kind of assistant coaches or even coaches of their own titles. So totally agree with you on that. But kind of focusing on Wake Tech a little bit, tell me a little bit more about the program, what games you compete in, what competitions you compete in as well. Just give me that overall snapshot for those high schoolers in the Carolinas that are looking for an esports program to go to college in.
Yeah, so we're a 2-year college, a community college in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we just started 2 weeks ago. We built a gaming center that's got top of the line computers, 14 of them. And we're going to be competing this spring in Overwatch, Fortnite, and Rocket League. In the fall, there'll be more, and we're going to have varsity and junior varsity. In the fall, we're going to have scholarships as well. And we're going to have jerseys this spring. We're going to have try to get streaming and broadcasting going. And so right now we're very new, but there's lots of progress being made. There's lots of support with the school. And so, if in the fall, or maybe even a year from now, we may have up to 10 teams with, a junior varsity and varsity for each. So growing really fast, and it's really exciting.
Absolutely. That sounds incredible. I'm super excited because you guys are basically in our backyard, right? We're based out of Charlotte. Y'all are up there in Raleigh, only about 2.5, 3 hour drive, depending on traffic, to say the least. That's super exciting. I love to see the newer programs with those great visions, right? Like
Hmm.
we want all of these titles, both with JV and varsity, to give that pathway to students, and also have the scholarships available, have the streaming and broadcasting, so they get those kind of real world applications that they can take kind of to any field, right? Those
Hmm.
streaming and broadcasting skills are very applicable to traditional sports, radio, any kind of media, whether it's news or radio or TV shows, movies, et cetera, et cetera. So that's super awesome. Um, Kind of going to my next question is, as you look towards the spring to really launch your competitions, talk to me about what a typical practice day looks like in your vision, right? Whether you've already had those or not, just tell me what the
Hmm.
ideal practice kind of overall schedule is for our high schoolers that kind of want a better understanding of what that looks like at the collegiate level.
Yeah. So for the vision right now, we haven't even started,
Mhm.
but the vision is every Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 hours for practice. There will be games during the week, so it depends on your game, but
Mhm.
maybe Monday through Friday there'll be a game, and it'll go for a couple hours. So
Sure.
you can expect 5 days a week to be playing or playing games, and then but in the future that may change. Practicing, one a key thing that we need are captains, team captains, and people who are able to communicate with their other teammates. So solo queue is great, right, to practice your skills, but we need people to gather groups of people and learn how to work as a team. So if you're at home, we really want you to practice in solo queues. But if you could, what would make you a star player is if you go grab and organize 4 other players, one other person, and
Mhm.
say, hey, let's practice together. Let's learn to communicate. Let's learn to point out each other's faults and get better. That's what we really need. We need team players. So that's, beyond the game, that's what we're looking for. But we're also, during practice, there's also going to be coaching, right? I'm a coach right now, and I know a little bit of every game, but we're going to need someone who maybe is not as skilled at the game, but knows the strategy,
Mhm.
right? Who knows the ins and outs of everything. You can watch a game and be like, this is where they went wrong. We need to do this, this, and this. So if
Mhm.
you're not that good, but you understand the game deeply, there's a position for you. That's called coach
Yeah.
or assistant coach.
Mhm.
So don't think that, if you're not the top tier player, that's okay. You can learn and still be a part of the team.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love that you point that out, that you don't have to be an exceptional player to be a coach, because that's kind of where the esports industry is typically on average right now. Like, hey, if you're not an ex pro or if you didn't play competitive for 4 or 5 years in a certain title, then you can't be a coach. It's like, well, that's not true at all. You can understand the game really deeply. And just because you don't have the mechanical skills to be
Hmm.
successful doesn't mean you can't be a good coach. It's like, I always look at, I use the example of traditional sports a lot, not quite the same, still not the same by any stretch, but look at like Bill Belichick, right? Iconic coach, has won 6 Super Bowls, right? You ever
Hmm.
see him throw a football? It's not that pretty. So it's like, but he's hailed as a fantastic coach, right? When at the end of the day, he wasn't that good of a player, right? He played collegiately, but wasn't a standout, right? Didn't go on to be a Hall of Famer as a player, but obviously a Hall of Famer as a coach. So I always love to see other people bring that up as well, because that's kind of a difference that we need to overcome as an industry, as a community of like, hey, you don't have to be incredibly good to be a coach. You have to understand the game deeply, right? And having that analytical mindset is just as important, because if you don't have that analytic, strategizing coach, your team's at a disadvantage at the end of the day,
Hmm.
right? So totally agree. Kind of moving to my next question, is looking towards the future. Obviously, not with the newer program, not a ton of experience in the space quite yet, but in what you've done so far and building this awesome arena, which I'd love to expand on more as well. But kind of what is your longer term vision, right? Over the next 3 years, what do you accomplish? Where do you see the collegiate industry kind of transitioning towards? And what hurdles do you think the industry needs to overcome to continue to grow? Because like we said in the beginning of the podcast, college esports, it's great, it's growing, it's pretty big now, but it's not quite college football yet,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
kind of talk me through what your vision is and all of that.
So the vision for Wake Tech, right? We're going to start there, and then we'll go to
Mhm.
broad view. But for Wake Tech,
Sure.
it's to establish teams for every game,
Mhm.
varsity, junior varsity, and we're talking every game. And then we also want to have a broadcasting room, build out another gaming arena to expand. We have many rooms that we can expand to, and then we plan to beat all the major universities in the area. So we want to crush them because they don't have coaches. We
Yeah.
have a coach. We have a facility faculty that want to to make us succeed, and they want to help us. So we're planning on, crushing the universities nearby and showing them, hey, a 2-year college just whooped your butt. And that's just because we have intentional practice, we have a coach, we have, all that stuff. So that's for Wake Tech. And for going to esports in general, right? All the big universities are waiting for each other to get into it. When they get into it, they're going to go in big. They'll build $1 million facilities and that sort of deal. But until then, it's going to be basically the smaller colleges who step on like into esports early. They have a major advantage because they're going to have the branding of an esports college. But then when the bigger schools get into it, I suspect it'll be, closer to maybe football in the sense that major universities are probably going to make an esports or convert their arenas into esports arenas. Not, you can convert it for
Right.
like a weekend,
Absolutely.
and have major events, and there'll be things like that.
Mhm.
Um, so, in the future, I'm thinking it's going to be quite popular,
Yeah.
more popular than many might think right now.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say I totally
Yeah.
agree with you on that note. I really see, within the next 10 years of esports being the global competition, right? Not
Hmm.
even, the global, not League of Legends being the title of choice or whatever that game might be. Really, if people are like, hey, I want to watch something competitive, they all go watch esports, right? And really
Hmm.
clarity, because what's so beautiful about it, and the way I always look at it, is that there's in traditional sports, right? You don't watch the Super Bowl and then go play football, right? You kind of just watch Super Bowl and then, oh,
Exactly.
this is awesome, right? If you watch
Yeah.
Worlds for LCS, right? You're like, I'm gonna go play League of Legends now, right? If I go watch, when I
Yeah.
went to the Siege Invitational for R6 last February. The second I got home off the plane, I'm like, I'm gonna go play Siege. I'm gonna go play Siege right now because I really want to play.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like having that
In
ability.
some cases,
Yeah, go ahead, go
in
ahead, go
in
for it.
some cases, you could be playing while you watch,
Exactly,
and you
exactly.
don't need a field, you don't need a
Yeah,
stadium, you
yep,
don't need to go make sure that 12 of your friends have rides to go to the field. It's very, you pick it up and you go and you get instant feedback,
yep.
from like your rating. So if you're improving, and you can watch pros play and see, you can literally see the key, like their mouse clicks or their keyboard, what they're pushing. You can watch it and study it. You could study the pros as they play, and that's really cool. At least on Twitch you can. But and one other thing about esports that's really interesting is we're able to field gender inclusive teams. We can have women and men. It's not as common, but it's still something that's possible where maybe a football team that I don't think that's possible. We're
Yeah,
as an esports, at least at Wake Tech, we're definitely pushing to have men and women or all genders to
yeah,
be on the same team and
yeah.
compete. So we're excited for that.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And that's another beautiful thing, if not the most beautiful thing about esports, is that everyone has the ability to play, right? Unless you
Hmm.
have some incredible disability, and there's some really intuitive tools for people with disabilities to be able to play. But it doesn't matter what your gender is, what race you are, how big you are, right? You don't have to be 6'10" and 280 pounds to play an offensive line or in the NBA, right? You can be any size, anything, right? And that's so awesome because there's complete, open ability for everyone to join in, right? And I think,
Yeah.
obviously there's some hindrance within the communities, right? There's some sexist tendencies, we all kind of know,
Hmm.
we all kind of experience at some level. And I think over time, I think the community is already pushing that out, and they're going to continue to.
Hmm.
There's a number of initiatives starting to kind of do that, and eventually it's going to be, hey, anyone can play. All you need is really a console or a PC, and that's the only real hurdle, is that you kind of have to have the money to buy that, right? But hopefully more
Hmm.
schools get that equipment so they can play more. And I absolutely love to see that. Like I said, being, there's not too many things out there that are really truly have the ability to be completely inclusive, right? Like you said, football, the end of the day, right, guys are bigger and stronger, right? To be at
Mhm.
the play in the NFL, you got to be big, you got to be strong. It's tough
Mhm.
for girls to do that. Not saying they can't, it's just hard, right?
Mhm.
So totally agree with you on all of that. But unfortunately, we are running out of time here on this episode of the SPINcast. It goes by so fast, right? I always love having
Yeah.
conversations because they're so great. Eventually, we are going to turn these into long form podcasts where we talk longer and kind of have these deep dives into it. But for now, Chase, if you will, go ahead and plug Wake Tech and yourself. Tell us where we can keep up to date with your new program on social media, websites, anywhere that you want to shout out.
Yeah, so Wake Tech Community College here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Go to waketech.edu. We've got our Discord links. You can find that in the esports area. If you go to the sports, then esports, our Discord link will be there. And then in the Discord, which is where we mainly live, you'll find all their social media. We have Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and basically in Twitch. So I mean, again, all these things are starting up. We're brand new, but we would love to have you if you're in the area. Even if you're not even sure you want to come to Wake Tech, just join the Discord, hang out, play some games, some scrims with us. We'd love to, hang out. So yeah, please, we would love to have you.
Absolutely, everyone definitely go check them out. I've seen you guys in the news. Did look through the website and stuff. Absolutely, looks like a beautiful arena and a beautiful program in its beginning stages. I can't wait to see next fall when you full launch and have 10 titles and varsity and JV and scholarships and everything. Super exciting to have this program so close to our home base in Charlotte, as Stay Plugged In. So super excited to see you guys grow. To all our viewers and listeners, thanks for sticking around the entire time. Stay healthy and stay happy out there. COVID's still a thing. Unfortunately, hopefully that goes away so we can bring our beloved LAN competitions back.
Yes,
So
please,
dearly. I want to
please.
go to Worlds. I want to go to SI.
Yeah,
I want to host my own LANs. I want to
yes,
run night events. Like, oh my God, I miss
please.
it so much. Hopefully that happens sooner. Hopefully, obviously, I think it's looking like, spring, summer with some of this, more positive vaccine news. So super excited, but we'll see. Once it's safe, then I think we're all super eager to get back. But
Yes, we
stay
are.
healthy, stay happy, and ultimately stay plugged in.